Hi, what's up everyone? This is a review on the Nike Hyperdunk 2011 Elite, which is definitely an older model and it's been out for a long time now. But one of the reasons I'm doing the review is because the shoe is still readily available. It's starting to hit outlets and sites like eBay for well under retail. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing the review. A second reason is when I looked into the shoe for myself, I basically looked on YouTube, which is, shoe reviews now are done. People do a lot of video reviews like Nightwing and the guys at Kick Genius, which are, they can give you a lot of things through video that you wouldn't get from the traditional, written reviews, which is how it was done back in the days of like Professor K. And we still see those things on eBay and even Nightwing does his written reviews. Anyway, on YouTube, there's a guy, I think his name is DJ Pro Sync, and he did a review on these, basically just trashing them because they cost $200, which is crazy. Um, and I got these for well under retail, so that's gonna factor into the value. But his he basically trashed them, and then I looked at like Soul Collector and East Bay blog, and they got like an A+. So I was like, Nightwing and Kick Genius didn't really review these, and those are the two guys, the two shoe reviewers that I kind of trust the most. So it was hard to really gauge if it was worth it or not to purchase these. So I did find a pair on eBay in my size, so I ended up getting them and played in them. So let's do a little breakdown of the shoe. First of all, there is a heel and forefoot zoom. I think Eastbay lists them as having a full-length zoom unit, which is, I don't think that's true, but they make mistakes. Heel and forefoot zoom. Okay, you have your Phylon midsole, flywire upper. You can see the flywire strands, throughout the shoe, and the carbon fiber shank piece right here, the bottom. Okay, and then the carbon fiber heel clip, which is kind of serves as a it works like a little bit like the Sprint frame from Adidas, right? Okay. You have your Pro Combat tongue, which is another one of the differences from the regular 2011 Hyperdunk, I believe. And then the Kevlar laces, and it actually says Kevlar on the lace end. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Yeah, it's probably not going to focus, but the laces do have Kevlar strands running throughout them. And if you look at some of Nightwing's reviews, he mentions that Kevlar is designed to make the laces less stretchy when you do those really hard explosive movements, so it will keep your foot kind of locked in place more than your typical regular laces. And like him, I don't know how much of that is actually true, or how big of a difference it really makes. So that's something to keep in mind for these. So let's get into the performance aspects. Okay, let's start with traction at the bottom. Soul Collector said the traction was pretty amazing, and I would say it was. It's dependable. Okay, and when I say dependable, I mean it lets you do what you want to do. I call this the WWH test, which is basically a where, when, and how. So does it let you move where you want to move, when you want to move, and how you want to move? Okay, and when I was playing throughout my games, it definitely did. It let me move wherever I wanted to move, when I wanted to move, and how I wanted to do it. You know what I mean? So if I wanted to make a hard cut or like a soft movement, if I wanted to go left, right, back, forward, whether I'm pushing off or coming from a standstill, whatever it was, the traction was dependable. You're gonna have to wipe every now and then, and that's true for every shoe that I play in, where I play. But when you're wiped, traction is gonna be amazing, and they squeak a lot. If that's something that's important to people, they squeak a lot. That's something that I noticed as well. Okay, cushioning. You have your standard, heel forefoot zoom. And if you like heel forefoot zoom, you're gonna like these. There's not much more else to say. Some people like the foam cushionings, and some people like the air based. So if you like that zoom combination, these are gonna be fine. They're responsive and bouncy and springy and comfortable. So That's about it for that. The fit is true to size, so if you're go with your standard size, whatever you typically wear in your Nike basketball shoes. Um, in terms of fit and comfort, though, they they are comfortable for probably the shorter duration, but the more you play in them, for me, I got a hot spot right here on the left side. Now this is probably going to depend on how often you cut in a certain direction. So I typically go to my right, and I'll only go to my left unless if they give me the opening. Um, but I felt the hot spot right here. I didn't feel it on the right side. This is about where your pinky toe is, okay? And that might be due to the design of the upper. It is a relatively thin. Just that was one of the faults that DJ Pro Sync had mentioned is the upper is just very thin. It's like this kind of one single layer, and that's really all you get. So I did experience a little discomfort there. But I did, that was like I think probably the fourth or fifth game when I started feeling that. So if you're playing for a couple of hours, then you might notice it at that point. Another problem for me, and this is not true. This is true for a lot of shoes actually, is the top of my right foot. I have some pain there, and I felt that in the Hyperdunks as well when the lace pressure, even with the flat laces. The tongue is really thin. That's another fault that DJ ProSync had mentioned is the thin tongue, and I felt some discomfort right around this area where the laces get tightened. Again, that's a problem in other shoes as well, like the Adidas Roses I have and other Jordans and Nikes that I played in. So that's not a knock on these, but it is something to consider if you're going to be playing in extended runs. Ventilation is about average. There wasn't anything phenomenal about it, but there wasn't anything like really bad. And you can see that the tongue is the Pro Combat tongue. Okay, so you get a lot of I guess ventilation through there, and then you have a couple of cutouts in the forefoot there. So there wasn't any moment when I looked down at the shoe when I was playing and said, "Oh my God, like I can feel the airflow. It's amazing, right?" But there wasn't a moment, when I looked down and said, "Man, my feet are really sweaty right now." So again, ventilation is about average. Nothing crazy good, but nothing terribly bad. Terribly bad. Heel to toe transition is pretty good. That's one of my kind of important features in a shoe that I look for because I like to run a lot. And getting out to run in these is just one of the best parts of the shoe. For fast breaks and getting back on transition D, it's just it's one of the best parts of the shoe, and I really enjoyed that aspect. Okay, so I think because of the overall design, and I think it's probably better for runners and slashers, people who like to really get out and move. I rarely post up, and I did a couple of times in these, and they were fine. But I'm not really a post up specialist, so I'm not sure how it would work for the big guys who like to do the work down low. And a couple of other things, the last two things, value. So this is a big part of DJ Pro Sync's review is honestly the retail price is $200, okay? And if you're paying retail, I don't think they're worth it, okay? I would definitely agree with DJ. It's just not worth it. Like, I never looked down at these when I was playing and said, yeah, I feel like I'm playing in a $200 shoe. It's worth every penny of the $200. Because of the discomfort in the left side of my foot and on the top of my right side of my foot, and just and you have to wipe still, that's gonna happen with every shoe. But there are shoes that perform similarly well for at a lower price point in terms of retail. So definitely not worth the $200. Okay. Now I got these used on eBay for well under retail. So if that's the case, then the value is well worth it to me. Okay. So if the question is, would I buy another pair, which to me is one of the the key questions to see if the shoe is really a good performer and the value is good, I would definitely buy another pair if they were available at maybe half of retail, and they are available at some outlets and other stores and online as well. So if that's the case, if you're gonna get them for well under retail, I think they're well worth it. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you have any questions or anything, ask in the comment section, I guess, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks, everybody.